We are here in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Biggest thing is the immigrants.
The border.
The illegals.
It does have kind of a salsa flair to it, a fiesta.
When they stole the election in 2020.
Facts.
This is my hat right here. It tells it all.
I took an antibiotic 4 years ago, and it destroyed a lot of my health.
Could I give you my short list for VP? I'd like Don Jr., Tucker, and possibly General Flynn.
That's a heck of a list.
Biden's senile to have bisexual people advertising to get into service now.
But the matador is coming. Trump is the matador.
The Democratic Party can all be charged with treason, along with the President of the United States, and they ought to be hung by a rope as hard as they can hang them.
This is America, for God's sakes.
Cuckoo! Wow, man. This is what we're up against, folks. That they are allowed to vote.
It's the illegals.
It's the illegals.
And the antibiotics.
One guy. Yeah, the one guy going around saying they should hang people. Like, that's crazy. This is what we're up against. So, anyway, welcome back, everybody. We got a crazy show lined up for you. We got tons of videos. We got tons of overlays to go over with you. So let's get into it. How you doing, Mike? How was your weekend?
My weekend was all right, but then we started prepping for the show, and it came back to the forefront how ridiculous so many people are that we have to deal with.
Well, it's good you said that. I kept adding more and more to the show. Like, we have so much on here. All right, first we'll start with Twitter.
There's a safe place to start.
Yeah, Twitter is a toxic and crazy place, but every once in a while you get gems like this one. This is Trucker Ray. I don't know if you guys remember when Donald Trump, don't get me laughing, man, because I'm not gonna stop. All right, so when Donald Trump was found guilty for fraud and they find him, he's the one that went on Twitter, is like, we're gonna ban all truckers are gonna ban against New York. And then like a few days later, he's like, I didn't really mean that.
Yeah. Oh, we need to generate an income for our families. We gotta actually do our job.
First, let me show you the tweet. Wow. Okay. Excuse the language. Chicago Ray says, fuck you leftists. I'm just one of the 100 millions, little much, I think, Americans who are voting for Trump. Hashtag whatever. I'm in the hashtag MAGA cult. Who's with me? But that's typical from him. But what I'm more concerned about is that shirt.
Look, this is not the first time we have seen hyper muscly Donald Trump being promoted by so-called alpha men.
Right, men are promoting. Okay, just hear us out.
This isn't going the way you think it is. So hold on a minute.
It's time to come out of Trump's closet, guys.
Yeah,
it really is. Okay, if you guys are making AI photos of Donald Trump in prison covered in tattoos and muscles, we need to talk. Okay, you guys have some feelings you want to accept.
Look,
in life.
I'm just fascinated by, and this is a culture of hyper masculinity, this creepy distilled patriarchy where they don't even remember it used to be like cool dudes would have pictures of bikini clad women in the background. I mean, again, those were hypersexualized. Fine. I'm not promoting that. But what I'm saying is we've come to a point now where these alpha males are trying to talk about how sexy and muscly Donald Trump is because, just doesn't that make you just know how strong he is? Guy, if you want to be gay, if you're gay, be gay. I don't care. You're the one that's upset about it.
Stop fighting yourself. These are
embrace.
Right. It's okay. It's okay to come out of the closet.
We're fighting for your right to find Donald Trump attractive. That's how cool we are.
If that's your thing, 77-year-old men that wear makeup and
that wear blackface.
Yeah, right. I mean, some of these videos that we have of him today, he's literally orange. He's two different shades. His face is orange, and then the back of him and his neck and his ears are all pale white.
I mean, is this just more projection, right? Like they hate drag queens, but yet they're literally
Following one,
worshiping
man.
a drag queen, a bad one, a terrible one. He can't even lip sync, right? He can't read the teleprompter. So
No.
we're talking about men who are worshiping this makeup clad fake pseudo alpha male, and you know he's not that, so you make up pictures of him without a shirt and like 15 abs. Some of them have like 42 packs. What are you doing? Stop.
Stop it. Please. It's getting weird. All right. So the solar eclipse is tomorrow. And I've been watching both scientific videos that explain how I'm interested in that. This stuff's kind of cool. For us,
Knowledge is cool.
Yeah, science is cool. Like, it's
I like
cool
to know why things
learn
happen.
stuff. It's amazing what you can do when you open your mind a little bit. But then I've also been watching some of these tweets from some of these people, and wow. One is Marjorie Taylor Greene, of course. We cannot forget to talk about her on this one. She posts, God is sending America strong signs to tell us to repent. Earthquakes and eclipses and many more things to come. Now, Mike, you, if I'm not mistaken, live in New York. How are you doing after that devastating earthquake of the
It's really weird. So I was at work when it was happening, and my wife works in like across the street. At the time it happened, she texted me and goes, "Did you feel that?" I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? She goes on to like wherever she was and just sees everyone in the office standing up like, what was that? I had no idea. I didn't feel it, but everyone around us felt it in my building and hers. And then we didn't even feel the big aftershock that happened a few hours later. My sister-in-law, who lives not that far from where we work, her entire house was shaking. Her kitchen was rattling. So I have no idea how some people felt it and some people didn't. That said, it's not because of Oogie Boogie stuff. The gays didn't cause the earthquake. What people need to understand is there's something called geology, which is a field of scientific study. And through that, they have learned that there is a fault line that runs through New Jersey where the epicenter of this earthquake was.
We've had quakes in Pennsylvania before, too.
Yeah, it's called We Live on a Planet that has tectonic plate activity. Big words. Ooh, booga booga. Go learn a little bit. Watch some Bill Nye the Science Guy, and you'll kind of know everything you need to know about earthquakes. But there are so many people. I have seen so many ridiculous videos of people literally saying that earthquakes like this didn't happen before gays and didn't happen before all this nonsense. I hate to break it to people. You think the Earth is 6,000 years old. I get that. But the Earth is way older, and we've had tectonic plate activity for millions, hundreds of millions of years. We just happen to feel it sometimes, and the uneducated go, booga booga, eclipse, ooh, spooky ground gods. Stop it.
Coincidences. Oh my God, what do we ever do? I think I was like 14 years old. We lived in California, and we went through a small earthquake. It was probably about the same, but that shit woke me up. I'll tell you what, that is startling though, to go through something like your shit just starts shaking for no reason. You're like, it takes you a second to figure out what the hell is going on. And it is, at the time, you don't know how big an earthquake's going to be. So it is terrifying.
Like, I get that it's unnerving. I get that it's unnerving, but what happens is in a good functioning society, people default to their education and go, oh, all right, I get it. It wasn't that bad. We understand why it happened. Uneducated people who join the MAGA cult, think that everything is spooky. Harry Potter teaches kids spells, and Dungeons and Dragons is evil. Ooh.
Like Marjorie Taylor Greene's
mystical bullshit. Stop.
Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend.
Oh, this is.
I think his name is Brian Glenn, right? This is him. He posted a video about this. This couple is nutty.
This is dumb.
Bonkers, batshit crazy. It's like batshit crazy at a definition. This would be this couple right here. Watch this shit.
If a dumpster fire,
I want you guys to have a fantastic weekend, and here's why. This might be the last normal weekend that we have for quite some time. I mean, we've got this solar eclipse on Monday, this very rare solar eclipse. Who knows what the fallout from that will be? Plus, that will be combined with several earthquakes. We've already seen a few already. And why not sprinkle in this infestation of locusts that have been dormant for years and all of a sudden will attack mankind. So why not? Then throw in Joe Biden trying to get into a war with Iran for whatever reason he wants to do that. So on that note, have a great weekend. We'll see you next week, or maybe not.
These people
The
are idiots.
combination of ignorance and dishonesty is
Mhm.
so uniquely American right wing.
You
That
know,
guy said not one single piece of truth. And all he
No.
did was try and steer the people that unfortunately listen to him into a deeper pit of ignorance. Nothing's
that's
going to happen
funny.
after the eclipse because it's just a transient thing that happens. The
Right,
earthquakes happen
yeah.
all the time. We just felt a stronger one. The locusts aren't, cicadas aren't locusts. Stop. Okay. And Joe Biden isn't starting a war with Iran. So what are you doing? You're just
Somewhere
driving up
in
a
America.
freaking population.
Somewhere in America, there's some MAGA freak just hiding in his closet, shivering with fear.
Yeah, I got to get the bread and milk.
This nonsense, man. Jesus Christ. Well, excuse
There
me.
are people like when I see a hurricane warning, I stock up with candles and food to make sure if the power goes out, I could exist for a few days. There are people that are stocking up with MREs and shotguns because they think the eclipse is going to bring zombies and human sacrifice. Listen, I didn't make that up. There are a lot of people worried about mass human sacrifices during the eclipse. Go look it up. People are talking about it.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders has declared a state of emergency. Sorry, this is so dumb. Declares a state of emergency ahead of eclipse. Governor Huckabee Sanders declared a state of emergency on Friday ahead of the solar eclipse, according to a news release. Sanders said in the release that she released funds for where those funds are going from the Response and Recovery Fund to help commercial carriers transport essentials. What essentials? It's gonna be dark for like a few minutes. What do you need?
What I find funny is when you get people that are going to try and excuse this, because you could make an argument that if you're going to experience a mass influx of tourism into locations that are going to have good views of the eclipse, you might be worried about overloading streets, local communities, emergency services. But there's one very easy way to solve that as governor of a state. If you know that you're going to have places that are going to be high traffic areas for people to come view the eclipse, you can shut down as a governor travel into your state. You could say, I don't think it's safe to have a huge influx of people come from out of state. It will overload our communities. And then you could just let the people that live there go see it. And you don't have to put on a big spectacle about a state of emergency. But you want the money to come into your state. You want those tourism dollars. But then you're going to say it's an emergency that they're there. So be honest
it's
about
a shortage of. They'll say it's a shortage of eclipse glasses.
Yeah, be honest about why
you're
you're doing
essentials that you're talking about. Like you need glasses to watch the eclipse. Okay, cool. We'll send you some. They're cheap. All right. Anyway, this next topic is probably gonna piss me off. Actually, the next topic is ridiculous. If you haven't seen the video, this is just Maine State Rep. I don't know exactly where. Yeah, Maine State Rep Laurel Libby poses a question during some kind of hearing she's doing. I don't know the context of the hearing, and I really don't care. But she asked one of the most outrageous questions I've ever seen come out of a person's mouth, let alone a politician. So let me play this video real quick, and we can discuss it afterwards. This is crazy.
Let's talk about the Nazis. I would like to know, although I'm not posing a question through the chair, I would like to know what they did that was illegal. I would like to know what they did, in detail if folks would like to share, that was wrong, that infringed on another person's right. Holding a rally, and even...
I'm gonna do something right here because I've already experienced people coming onto my Instagram and responding to posts about, well, all she was doing was highlighting that it wasn't illegal what the Nazis did, and that's why you have to be careful to understand that not everything that's legal is moral. While I agree with that sentiment, excuse me, that is not what she said. She didn't say worry about making sure what is legal is also moral. What she said is, what did they do that was wrong? She did ask what did they do that was illegal, but then she followed it up by saying, what did they do that was so wrong? Once you include those two different sentences in one thought, you are negating the concept that you're implying the legality versus morality issue. She was standing there asking what Nazis did that was so wrong.
Really? Like, yeah, it's like, do we really have to answer that question? Why would you
You
even
don't
ask that question?
you don't get to micro analyze different aspects of what Nazism was. And what I mean is, not that you shouldn't dig down and understand all of it, but if you're going to take anything out of context, take the Bible out of context, because that's not real.
Please.
You don't take history out of context. And even though history is often written by the victors, I'm sorry, what the Nazis did was wrong. And we know because we have video, we have photographic evidence, we have documentation, we have a lot of testimonials. We know what happened, and we know that it was morally wrong. Because she asked, what did they do that infringed on the rights of other people?
Right.
Well, I guess it depends on who you define as people. And that's the problem we have with the Republican Party today, isn't it? They like to say that certain people are people and certain people are animals. So this is pretty in line with the modern Republican Party.
Yeah, and using the word animals is straight out of Donald Trump's mouth. We have the video here coming up later.
Straight out of there.
Because Truth Social, we're going to be talking about that coming up here in a little bit. But before that, we do want to talk about the bridge collapse in Baltimore. That shit was crazy when I woke up, and those were one of the first videos that I saw. I could not believe it. But let me show the video of that real quick, just to kind of recap, I guess. That's crazy. That's pretty much the whole thing. But yeah, I mean, it's almost like something statistically that's going to happen at some point. Something like this was bound to happen. They investigated it.
Well,
they said it was just Can you hear me?
No, you were breaking up a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, we must have been breaking up a little bit on that. Sorry about that. But anyways, after the bridge collapse, this happened at like what, 2, 3 in the morning, 1, 2 in the morning. And of course, conspiracy theories ran amok. Everybody became a professional engineer. Everybody knew about diesel engines. All of a sudden, like all these right-wing people came out and like, oh, that should never have happened.
Well, wait a minute. Also, all of the entire Republican Party decided that they were for infrastructure, right? When they voted against it. But the irony is this really wasn't an infrastructure problem, because when you actually see the size of that ship and you realize how much it weighed, and you use some science to understand what inertia is. Okay. That thing was going to destroy any bridge it hit.
Oh my God. Yeah, there was no stopping it. And it's not like it's got brakes. You can't be like, oh shit, stop.
No.
Throw it in reverse. It doesn't work. It's not that easy.
But wait, when we have people that some MAGA are calling to be the vice president telling you conspiracy theories while he's drunk or high out of his mind, that's the problem. And that's what Donald Trump's son did.
Yes, he did. Before I play that video, though, I want to shock Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott responded. And of course, they complained about his appearance, even though it was 3 in the morning. He was responding to a serious emergency. I want to play the video of him being interviewed real quick. I thought he handled it very well. But then all of a sudden, everybody's making this about race. Like, how is the bridge collapsing, getting hit by a random ship, have anything to do with race? And they're up in arms because it's Baltimore, okay? Large African American community in Baltimore, young black mayor. So of course they had to make this about race, and especially after Joe Biden said that the federal government's going to step up. And why are they upset that the federal government's going to? Isn't that kind of what the federal government is supposed to do?
The government's there to help.
Right. They think the government is a for-profit operation. So this is going to take money out of the profit to help.
They're afraid that they're going to paint the bridge in rainbow colors. That's what they're really afraid. And if you go over the bridge, it'll make you gay because they're going to use gay laser,
Oh my
gay
God.
Jewish space laser.
Let me play the video of him real quick. I just want to commend him for. I mean, he's a young guy.
Yeah.
So I gotta commend his
an actual leader.
his reaction.
Hey, it's nice to have some.
Over to our Mayor Brandon Scott.
Thank you, Chief. Everyone, this is a unthinkable tragedy. We have to first and foremost pray for all of those who are impacted, those families. Pray for our first responders and thank them, all of them working together, city, state, local, to make sure that we are working through this tragedy. This is an ongoing active research that we're having right now. We're going to continue, as you heard from Chief Wallace, throughout. As long as we have to be doing that, we will do it. But we have to be thinking about the families and people impacted, folks who we have to try to find and save. This is what our focus should be on right now. We're going to continue to work in partnership with every part of government to do everything that we can to get us through the other side of this tragedy. And with that, I'll turn it over to County Executive Olszewski.
And he's handled it actually extremely well.
The MAGA Publicans would rather a white man take the time to put on a three-piece suit and his little American flag pin before he goes to do that press conference than actually have a black man get up in the middle of the night and run out to go make sure that his people are safe and what he could do to help.
Exactly.
Racism is what the MAGA Republicans are about. Inequality is what the MAGA Republicans are about.
He did
They
another
see
interview
every day that there is a separation between human beings, that they, the white, deserve everything, and everyone else is beneath them and always should be suspected of something wrong, and they can't do it because just let a white guy do it. That is what they
Mayor
believe.
Scott did an interview, and I thought this was powerful and on point. He said they're just afraid to say it. You know what I'm getting at? He's like, they're just afraid to say the N-word. That's exactly what he said. I'm like, damn. I mean, that's right where they're at. Like, it's pretty much gonna be the next thing they start saying. It's gotten to that point. It's so bad in this country. Thanks
They're
to
close.
people like Donald Trump and Don Jr. So let's go to the Don Jr. video. Let me see if we don't have any overlays. We have to go over on this, do we? No, we're good. So yeah, Don Jr. Goes on his on Rumble, I think it's called. It's a show called Triggered.
How clever. He's so clever.
For sure. For legal, he can't say for sure that he's high, but goddamn, just watch the video, okay, and you judge for yourself. It's not that hard to see, okay. Allegedly, we always have to throw that out there. All right, here we go.
Bridge was attacked.
Allegedly.
I read an article. I don't know if it's true, or I read a tweet like, there's 2 minutes conveniently missing from the black box on the boat. And like, again, I don't want to be the guy rushing out and saying it was a terrorist attack or a cyber hacking, but like, man, you watch that video in like, sped up.
I don't want to be the guy that does that, but I'm going to do
There's
that.
the power outage and there's the first correction. And it's like, well, it's not quite perfect.
I like how he
on
makes
so
a
there's another
tweet
power
like it's
outage.
official
And it ends up
news.
being perfect.
Yeah.
to hit
Oh,
the
a tweet
thing
that
dead
by
square.
someone.
I mean, that's critical infrastructure. Like, I don't know about you guys, but
Yeah,
I mean,
but they want that.
any
That's what they
diesel
want,
mechanics
people to send tweets in
watching right now, but I don't know much, but I know that these big diesel engines are, let's just call it like
You don't know
really
shit.
fucking reliable, and it seems odd
The
that
engine
one would
didn't
go out and they
out.
could go
The
out just
electronics on the
conveniently,
ship
and
went out.
also conveniently within a couple hundred yards of a critical infrastructure bridge that's there for transporting hazardous waste in one of our biggest port areas in the country.
Oh, do people like watch
I don't
this?
know, folks. I'm not going to go and say it because then they'll say Don Jr.'s being a conspiracy theorist. But like all conspiracy theories, they turn out to be right.
They turn out to be
No,
right.
they don't.
All conspiracy theories turn out to be right, he says.
Yes, I'm still waiting for the
Okay.
moon that's made of cheese to fall out of the sky and make a worldwide Alfredo sauce. It's
We
not.
can't
Stop.
even convince the people that the earth is round, okay? They're a lost cause, people. It's time to just like cut them loose. Can we just solve the problem? All right, so I'll talk about this perfect segue into our next topic. Texas wants to go ahead and secede from the Union, become their own country. And we're going to talk about real quick how that's the most fucking laughable thing on planet Earth. But I have a proposal. Okay. All the people that don't want to live there, we take them and we move them out. Okay. We could take all of MAGA, because Texas is huge. take all of, I think it's the second largest state in the country, right? So we take all of MAGA, put them in Texas, okay? Then we make Donald Trump king of Texas.
All right.
Okay. Then we can build a wall around Texas and make.
We'll pay for it. We'll pay for it.
Yeah, we'll even put the bill, bro. We'll build you what? We'll give you alligators. You want spikes on the fence, bro? Electrify the shit out of that bitch. We don't care. We will sacrifice Texas if it makes a difference. It shuts you guys up. Jesus Christ. All right. So there's many, many reasons why it's laughable. One, they would have no economy, absolutely no federal funding whatsoever. Every single federal building in the state would shutter its doors. So nobody
Which
would
is
receive
interesting.
any assistance whatsoever. I think you have some slides to go over.
Yeah, well, the whole point of that is they want to be this grand independent republic. Which, by the way, if you want to get your land back, then Mexico is going to come take that once you break away from the United States. Just letting you know that. But they don't want any federal dollars, right? Don't forget, this is a state that refuses to participate in the national grid. Okay, so they do not have any ability to help themselves already when there's an emergency. Every time there's been an emergency, the government, the federal government is like, here, we'll help you. That's our job. And they're like, shut up. We thank you. We don't need it. Shut up. Go away. But
I know. They won't get your money.
they don't understand because the average person who is living in Texas, who is a lunatic, has no concept of how their life would change. That Social Security that you earned, you're not getting it.
Gone. Right. Nothing.
But
gone.
How much money actually goes to Texas from the federal government? This is from the comptroller.texas.gov. This is for people who don't understand, the person in charge of dealing with the money coming and going in Texas. In 2021 alone, the federal government allocated a historic level of funding to states, including Texas, through two pieces of legislation signed by, President Biden. Here's one of them. The Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act is a $1.2 trillion federal investment in the nation's infrastructure, who Don Jr. suddenly cares about, signed into law on November 15th, 2021. Now, this is from the Texas Comptroller's website. This is his words. So far, the act has allocated an estimated $36.7 billion for existing and new programs in Texas through 2026. Which would be into a President Trump's reign if he ever gets there. The other act is the American Rescue Plan. It's a $1.9 trillion federal coronavirus rescue package signed into law, and the act allocated nearly $40 billion to Texas. You won't get none of that.
None of that.
Okay? Nothing.
It would be absolute chaos. It would be, they would descend into madness.
Don't forget,
psychotic people
Texas produces nothing. They make oil that the people who own those oil fields sell it to other countries, okay? All they do is act as a tax haven. That's why so many businesses are headquartered in Texas, just like why there's so many headquartered in Florida, because they're corporate tax havens. What are you going to do when no one's there?
I know. I've always wondered why how somehow the Saudis own the largest oil refinery in our country, located in Texas. Figure that one out.
And you're going to have no businesses. You are going to export some gas, which you already do. But since you're going to be a pure capitalist society, those business people that stayed in Texas to use that oil to make profits are not going to suddenly help the people, because that would be socialism. And you don't want that, right?
And plus, all that money that's going to them can now be used for other things. So, I mean, like I said, go for it.
Carefully before you vote to secede, Texans.
Yeah, it's like a dead limb. Just cut it off, man, before it gets infected.
Take all the people that want to evacuate Texas and spread them out to the middle of the country to make the electoral college actually function.
Yeah, it's bad. All right, moving on. The next topic, I think that's all we had to cover on Texas. But yeah, I think we went over this a little bit when we had Fred Wellman on the show. We talked about Civil War a little bit, and he let us know why it's actually kind of laughable that people think they can really participate in a civil war, what it would actually be like. It's ridiculous. And he's somebody who's actually seen war, so I take his word for it. So next big news, not big, I don't know if it's big news or not, but the dark money front. We talked about dark money and public education last week on our last show, but now No Labels, the No Labels group has bowed out. No Labels will not mount a third-party 2024 bid after failing to find a candidate. Centrist Group says it won't field Unity ticket in U.S. presidential election after reaching out to 30 potential people and raising $60 million.
They're like, we have so much dark money, we want to put it somewhere. Wait,
I know.
where do we
How
put
did
it?
I mean? You didn't do anything. You didn't. I wonder where they spent it. I want to see if they spent it all. Like, where does it go after this? Because they didn't campaign because you didn't have a candidate.
So that money is not going to be given back. I want to stress that there is no like rain check system in political donations. That money's not going back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's going
somewhere.
somewhere.
These guys are just sitting on 60 mil for doing nothing. And the thing that pisses me off is I think it's because they got found out. People saw it for who they really were. They packaged themselves very nicely at the beginning. And I was actually kind of following at the beginning to see what they would do when I was first getting into politics. They first came out. And then I found out like they're basically funded by the same people that are paying off the Supreme Court. Harlan Crow types, like those people. So after that, I was like, man, this is not cool. But Lincoln Project did a video. This is half the video. It's kind of long, so I just cut it down a little bit. They did a video about No Labels being a dark money front. So let me play that real quick. It's actually really good.
Everybody's talking about dark money. The third-party group, No Labels.
No Labels.
No Labels.
No Labels, a dark money front for corporate interests.
Dark money.
They're what we call dark money group.
It's not required to disclose where its funding comes from.
I've invited Nancy Jacobson to talk to me about who exactly they raise their money from, and she never says yes.
Why not reveal your donors?
First of all, we're not a party.
But you guys are registering as a party.
Can you tell us who's your major funder?
No Labels is a 501c4.
We have a legal entity that doesn't disclose contributions.
They could give out the information if they wanted to. They choose not to.
We do not disclose donors.
And anyone who's still taking them as well-intentioned do-gooders needs to look a little closer at the deep red intentions of their donors, their staff, and their plan.
If you added everything up, there's a distinct Republican tilt.
We're worried that there could come a moment that there's two unacceptable nominees from each party.
They say that Joe Biden is as extreme as Donald Trump.
We love you. You're very special.
So right there's a complete dishonesty. And then when they start hiding their sources of money.
Yeah, exactly. So what I learned on the last show, super PACs, okay, are able to take massive donations and they do not have to disclose where the money comes from. And it's all legal. There's got to be some kind of, I hope the Democrats, if and when they get into office this November, if everybody votes correctly, and it's not stupid, I really hope there's some kind of serious campaign finance reform. And this was as a result of the Supreme Court ruling that allowed corporations to basically express themselves with their money. Freedom of speech through their money is what they pretty much said.
So wait. Are you telling me corporations are people, but embryos are people, but women aren't people? Got it. Okay.
Yeah. So that's all they really were. They ended up just being this, I don't know. They were the whole time. The whole agenda was to get Trump into office, regardless of what they said. That was
but you know what? So let me, if Donald Trump Jr. can spout off conspiracies, I'm going to suggest one of my own, because you make a good point, Jeremy, that money, where's it going, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, really, where's that money going? Because I guarantee you that money isn't. I'm not saying that money is going to be used for anything nefarious. I'm not even technically actually suggesting that money is going to be used for Donald Trump's campaign or legal fees. But I am telling you that there is no way that money is going to find its way into Joe Biden's campaign.
No, not at all. And so it's shady. It's been shady from the start. So I'm glad they got found out, kind of like Project 2025. I'm glad they got exposed. A lot more people are talking about it now. So the only choice they really
we
had
need to
was to drop
rerun that episode or something, because the fact that Project 2025 took down their manifesto, which they
I know,
proudly
right?
held up there because it is a
Mhm.
training tool to infiltrate the United States government with Christian fascist loyalists.
Yes,
That
it
is
is.
what it is. And everyone's starting to report on that now. The fact
Mhm.
that they took that down, we need to start blasting that back out there again.
You know, after Roe v. Wade got overturned, I had a conversation with my mom, and she pointed out, and because she was born during World War II, like a nationwide abortion ban, they're doing it now. They're prosecuting women for having miscarriages. That miscarriage and a nationwide abortion would be considered an involuntary abortion.
Yep, it would be like manslaughter.
Yeah, so you want like something completely out of your control, and then they're going to send women to jail over something that could be possibly a traumatic incident. You know what I mean? Somebody, I'm assuming having a miscarriage can be traumatic. I've never had one myself, obviously, so I don't know. But it's amazing that they're just. Well, we'll show you a video, Steve Bannon, how they talk about women. It's absolutely incredible. Actually, I'll play that video
Broodmares.
next.
They think they are vessels for their magnificent seed. That's all they think women are.
Right. And Steve Bannon, for those of you who don't know, was Donald Trump's chief strategist. Okay, so this guy's basically Donald Trump. He's number two. Like if you're watching Austin Powers, I call him number two. That's basically what Steve Bannon is. So Steve Bannon says what comes out of his mouth is what comes out of Donald Trump's mouth. But Steve Bannon says the things that Donald Trump can't about women, because obviously that would make Trump look bad. But Steve Bannon does it because his target audience is just white males. I can't imagine a lot of women watch War Room. It's a ridiculous show. But let me play a clip from this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
look, if you are someone who identifies as a woman and watches Steve Bannon's War Room, please let us interview you. We will let you talk for hours if you want.
Weird.
We just want to interview you.
Marjorie Taylor Greene loves going on War Room. She's always on there because no network.
I almost made a really distasteful joke, and I'm not going to do it.
Okay, well, let me play the video before he comes out. All right, let me play
Please
the video
do.
real quick.
Thank
But
you.
listen to what he says. This is what Donald Trump thinks about women, is what I'm trying to say. What comes out of his mouth is what Donald Trump wants to say about women, but can't.
All these people come and you got to modify your message because you got to chase college-educated white women, college-educated suburban women, college-age women of color. I mean, college graduate, not age, college graduate women, all the Karens, the women of color. You just march. You're going to pick up a few, but it's just a waste of time and money. That's not going to change.
Karens
They
are
think
yours.
Trump personifies the patriarchy. I said this years ago when Oprah Winfrey first was talking about this. It started with the Me Too movement, but went to which I thought in Hollywood needed to happen. And obviously a lot of people, I didn't think as many as I thought were going to be, were all outed by the oppression that they put on women in the industry. But it started with the Me Too movement, even in corporate America, Me Too movement. And then it went to the Time's Up movement. The Time's Up, as I said at the time, is time up on the patriarchy. So they can come in and they do all the consultants. They try to modify Trump's message. Oh, no, you got to modify it here on the social conservative. You got to do this. You got to do that because you got to get the suburban women. Well, says who? Says who? The ones that are gettable are out there that can listen to the message of MAGA and the message of President.
That's what I'm saying. They don't care about
the ones that are gettable.
They're not gaining votes. They're just alienating more people. People need to see this because that's what
There
Donald Trump thinks
is
about women.
Nobody right now, April 2024, that's like, yep, Trump, that's the one. I am now I am a hardcore Trumper. I've seen all the evidence.
Right? Yeah, I was on the fence for the longest time.
Who are they speaking to? And I'm not asking that rhetorically. We know who they're speaking to. They're speaking to the extremely angry, woman hating, LGBTQ hating, black hating, immigrant hating, white guys who are obsessed with guns and maybe closeted in their sexuality because they love creepy muscle pictures of Donald Trump. That's who Steve Bannon's talking to. Okay. Yeah, there are a lot of women and younger people that are going to vote for Donald Trump, but that is part of a coordinated information, disinformation, and just straight up propaganda campaign. And Steve Bannon's the head of that.
See, I like showing this stuff on our show, and I wish we had more viewers, but at the same time, like, this is the stuff you don't see on corporate TV at all. Like, because we scour the internet, like, I'm crazy about it now. I love finding stuff like this, but I want people to see, like, what they say behind, because the only reason a woman would be watching War Room is if she's sitting next to her big bellied, wearing a stained up wife beater husband is just watching it, and she has to watch it.
And he got the clicker because he the man. He the man. He got
right? That's what I mean. That's the only reason I can see any women watching that kind of show. It's ridiculous, but that's what they feel about women. They just feel like they're, like you said, they're vessels. They're. I mean, we're going to turn into a forced birth nation. Think about that. If they get elected, forced birth. Like, is that really what we want to do in America? Is that really freedom?
They want.
I don't think so. All right. So now getting into the meat of the matter. Donald Trump had a horrible week, both legally and financially, but we're going to talk more about Truth Social than anything else because it is fun. I'll admit it is fun. I don't watch any stocks at all because I don't have any money, but it is fun watching Truth Social go down. But like, you can watch Donald Trump go get less money in real time. And every time it goes down, I just think of all these suckers.
I didn't even think of it that way.
You know what I mean? You can watch all his supporters go broke in real time. It's fucking hilarious.
Oh, man.
Because it changes every few seconds. So it's great. But recently, I saw it did good at first, right? Like, it popped off. It was like, oh, shit. Hey, the stock came in at what, 50? I think it started at.
Yeah, something 60, 50. It doesn't matter.
Right. Then it went up to like $66, $67. And that's when all his, everybody was buying it. And then all the truth came out about it. Not only is Trump being sued by the people that brought him the idea, he's suing them, I guess, or he's suing somebody as well. 2 other people were pled guilty to insider trading involving Trump media. And what else? Oh, Russian loans. We have Russian loans. All right. So I remember hearing about this back in 2022, but I had to dig back into this real quick. Trump media is saved in 2022 by Russian American under criminal investigation. So on the right here, Donald Trump's social media company, Trump Media, managed to go public last week only after being kept afloat in 2022 by emergency loans provided in part by Russian American businessmen under scrutiny for a federal insider trading and money laundering investigation. This article is from The Guardian. That man, his name, I wrote it down, is Anton, I'm going to say it wrong, Pistolnikov. That's the best I could do. Okay, Anton Pistolnikov. Anton is the nephew of freaking Alexander Smirnov, the guy they just arrested for feeding Russian lies to the Republican Party, people. Like, how do you not put these things together? Like, this is all connected. It's so freaking crazy.
Like, and it's even worse than that. When you do your initial public offering, right, you're supposed to have had all of your financials and everything gone over. But that apparently didn't happen because as soon as it went public, they found out that it had only made about 4 million the previous year and lost, hold on a minute,
50-something million.
58 million.
Nobody advertised.
Let's just take the millions out. It made $4 and lost $58. How does that work?
And Trump Media, all Trump Media company is, or whatever it's called, is Truth Social. And it's a platform. It's like, all right, look. God damn, man.
I would like to point out that I called this up. If anyone knows what the Robinhood app is, it's an interesting little thing to play with, but it's more fun to see what's going on with all the rich folks and the economy messing around and playing their games. So I looked at the Trump Media and Technology Group. There are 3 employees. 3.
What?
So you're telling me that there's a company that started out at $60 a share worth billions of dollars, and there's 3 people sitting in an office? Like, is one of them the secretary?
Yeah, it's all shit.
I don't get it.
Just to give you an idea, they only have 500,000. Like, they said this platform is going to be worth billions of dollars. And the shit part is Donald Trump's going to make out on this deal no matter what. That's the bad part of this. even like he has like 76 million shares or something ridiculous like that. So even if this goes down to $10 a share, he's still going to make out with almost $1 billion regardless. And he didn't have to do a goddamn thing. He didn't have to set the app up. He didn't have to promote it. I mean, he does promote it because it's his platform, but they literally did everything for him, and he's going to make out unless this thing's worth pennies on the dollar in 6 months because he's not allowed to sell any stock for 6 months because that would absolutely tank his prices. But everybody that has invested, like just the day traders, like the GameStop people that, you know what I mean? The people that just buy a couple stocks here and there, they're losing their asses because they all invested in at $60 when it went live. And now it's down to, hold on, let me pull it up. All right. So yeah, it's right about, I think it changed a little bit, but $40.59. So it started at 50, went up to like 66, 67, or did it start at 60? Regardless. And then all of a sudden, all the truth came out. And now it's down. This is the last week. Okay, the little arrow down 32%. Overall, 19%. I think that was for the week. Yeah. And then just Friday, he was down 12%, losing another $5 off of this. But the more news that comes out, the worse it gets. But just to give you an idea of how shit a platform this is, like I said, 500 million or 500,000 active monthly users. And just to give you an idea of what the other platforms have. Okay, on the top left, Facebook has over 3 billion active monthly users. Okay, YouTube has over 2. Instagram is 2 billion. Even Twitter has 619 million. Trump's app has 500 million. And me and Mike are 2 of them because we have to.
Hey, wait, so is the Biden-Harris campaign. That's 3.
There's a lot. I bet you there's at least 50,000 people that are on there just trolling these guys. That's all.
Well, but let's break it down. A company like that only makes money one way. There is nothing else to do but generate ad revenue. You generate ad revenue by having users. The more money you make is based directly on the more users you have. So if you look at Facebook that has 3 billion and Truth Social that has 500 million, again, most people cannot even conceive of the difference between millions and billions. But there's a reason Facebook makes a lot of money and Truth Social lost $58 million in 1 year because it's not a viable business. It's a money laundering
nobody wants
scheme.
to advertise on that. Like,
don't forget, Truth Social only exists because they finally banned Trump from Twitter back in the day because he was literally putting the nation at risk by spouting off at the mouth. So in a feeble attempt to deal with that, he created his own social media app, which no one joins, no one uses. I literally have seen a bunch of articles written in the past week that says there are only five active senators on Truth Social. Explain to me how every single one of those Republican senators and Congress people is diehard Trump, but they're not on Truth Social talking about all their policies and all the good they're doing for Americans. Because it's a cesspool of Trump's own vanity and legal
just to
woes.
give you an idea,
That's
this is an actual post from Truth Social on Donald Trump's feed. He posts a video where Fox News is interviewing people saying, "Who would you rather drive your car, Joe Biden or Donald Trump?" That is a ex-president posting like a teenager. It's demented.
Also, you said this to me the other day. Donald Trump has never operated a vehicle in his life.
No,
he is that type
everywhere.
of scumbag that thinks that operating a vehicle is beneath him. He wants to be chauffeured around. He wants to be ushered in and ushered out like he's royalty. That man would not even be able to turn on a car.
No, not at all. So this is one of his posts from Truth Social because he started freaking out because all the prices are going down. So get ready. Holy shit, that's a lot. Yeah. All right, so let's go. All the competitors to Truth Social, especially those in the radical left Democrat Party who are failing at every level, like to use their vaunted disinformation machine to try and convince people, and it's not easy to do, that truth, in capital letters, of course, is not such a big deal. It's not. and doesn't get the word out as well as various others, which you know to be false. I think truth is amazing. And then he goes, having over 200 million in cash and zero debt. You don't have shit. He has 7 million followers, by the way. I'm sorry, I'm skipping to the bottom right because it's too much to read. But I think truth is amazing in capital letters, I think, is the essence of this. He's trying to pump up the stock prices. I think truth is amazing. Come on.
Yeah, I think my own thing is really good.
I know, right? Yeah. I really need the stock prices to go up. It's awesome. Come on, guys. It's really awesome. It's not as bad as they say. No, it sucks. It really sucks because I'm going to pull a slide up again because that's what you post. And nobody wants to advertise with you. You think like Disney's going to advertise on True Social? You must be out of your minds. That place is horrible. You think Twitter's bad? Jesus.
Half the ads are literally for Russian mail order brides.
Yeah, or gold bullion or some bullshit.
I'm not making this up. It's either Trump merch, gold bullion, which a lot of MAGA people have also expressed their being upset that it isn't actual legal tender because it's not real gold.
Yeah.
Some of it that they're selling is just like gold-plated pictures of Trump.
Right.
Or it's Russian mail order brides.
Or it's Donald Trump asking for donations.
Well, wait, maybe Melania is the ultimate advertisement for the Russian mail order bride racket that he's trying to get into. That's why look, it worked out for her. She was the first lady who loved kids so much in Christmas.
Dude, she basically was a mail order bride. I mean, she came over from a modeling agency, brought her over, and that was the whole thing the modeling agency did. Brought Eastern European women over to meet rich white men or rich men, whatever. And they met at his place called the Kit Kat Club. Okay, that's where Donald Trump and Melania met. Through this guy who brought over Eastern European. It's a mail order bride. That's what it is.
Wait a minute. Are you saying Barron Trump is an anchor baby?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I just found out today that Ivanka is Jewish now. She converted to Judaism. I didn't know that. These people were like, Jared Kushner's Jewish. And these people are left and right denying the Holocaust and talking about Jewish people in the most awful way. And his own daughter, Ivanka's Jewish. I did not know that until today. I thought that was kind of ironic. Anyway, let's go to the video. This is epic. This is an actual billionaire who has a company traded on the market. He actually knows how stocks work because Donald Trump doesn't know how the stock market works. He just knows if it goes up, he gets money. If it goes down, he loses money. That's literally the vast amount of knowledge he has of stock market. Watch interviews that when they ask him questions about it, they're absolutely hilarious. But this is an actual guy who has billions of dollars and knows what the hell he's talking about. And he just slates.
We're not saying he's a good guy. We're just saying he knows what he's talking about.
And this is on, I think, CNBC. So that this is not like MSNBC where it's very left leaning, I guess.
Well, CNBC is just business.
Right. So they bring Barry Diller on, and what he says is perfect. Just watch
it gets more and more ridiculous. Like the more and more he opens up and fights the,
I know,
the person,
it just gets worse and
he's
worse.
just like, no, he's an asshole. It's like great. Play it.
They should have the stock price in the background just going down as he said it. Little music. Sorry. Here's the video. We're running out of time, man. Let me play this damn video.
I mean, it's ridiculous. The company has no revenue.
But do you think it could ever be a bigger business? Do you think if he wins the presidency, it becomes
Why?
I'm asking.
Why would it be bigger? Look, he's only interesting now because he's out there entertaining the folks. I hope if he does get elected, he just plays golf for 4 years. But
so, do you think that all of the investors in this are getting scammed? Do you think they think this is a transference of wealth from one side to the other, and that's the goal? What do you think is happening?
I think they're dopes. I mean, who would buy a company that literally has? I mean, I think what does it have? $30 of revenue. Why would you put how could you put a value on it? They're buying it for other reasons, just like they bought theaters when there was no theater business, or they bought GameStop or whatever. It's stupid. It's stupid stuff.
I think
Okay.
it was wasn't it $4 million? It was
$4 million in revenue. That's $4 million in revenue. It's ridiculous. I'm not saying it's not ridiculous.
$4 million.
Why are you even talking about this? It's a scam, just like everything he's ever been involved in is some sort of con.
Oh God, this is epic takedown. That everything he's involved in is a con, and this guy knows money. Okay, he's actually made his billions. Nobody to me that makes billions does the. I mean, so some people do, but most people make billions of dollars by screwing over a lot of people. So I don't know a lot about Barry Dillard, but that takedown was just like,
it doesn't matter. His analysis is accurate because it's not even
circulating
like an
now.
opinion. It's fact. The company made $4 million, lost $58 million, produces nothing.
There is nothing. That's the thing. There is nothing. Truth Social is an absolute shit platform. You can't do anything on it but post pictures and videos. It's just basic.
It's literally there for Trump is a vanity project and for Cat Turd and DC Drano to self-flagellate themselves.
Dude,
That's
it's
all
literally
it is.
more basic than Threads. Like, in Threads sucks. I'm sorry.
It does.
Sorry. I wish it was better, but it's like even more basic than that. It's horrible. It's horrible. Like I said, we are on it so you don't have to be. But we like showing you the stuff that goes on behind the scenes that the news doesn't report. I think this is more important than the stuff they do report, because they always downplay the shit that he says and the shit that he does, and it drives me absolutely insane, man.
Yeah, they're complicit in taking away the severity of the things that he says. Yes, he's an idiot. But when he's using very specific language about certain topics, you have to recognize what he's doing or attempting to do. He's attempting to incite. He's attempting to lie and get people to believe extreme versions of reality that are not true, that only benefit him and make enemies out of everyone else. He wants people, his voters, his extreme cult, to feel as attacked as he thinks he is. But what's actually happening is he's facing justice. And he doesn't understand that. It doesn't compute in his little pudding brain. So he's just lashing out and trying to get more of his supporters to get angrier and more close to the edge of when he finally cannot help himself and says, attack, they're ready. That's what
he's right there, man. The more desperation that he takes on is just, it's going to happen, man.
That's why he needs Truth Social, because without Truth, don't forget, there's a reason
nothing without
he's
Truth
not
Social.
really
He
on
doesn't
Twitter, because Truth Social, the legal aspect of it that no one talks about is he's like not allowed to actually post anywhere else.
And most corporate news networks won't even take him on the air live because he's such a freaking liability.
He's a bumbling idiot.
Right. And the lies, they can't, you know what I mean? You can't just let a guy come on TV, regardless if it's a presidential campaign or not, lie about shit.
They're finally starting to realize that the guests you have on, especially in a journalistic sense, are a reflection of you, unless you treat them accurately. If you're going to take a Donald Trump on and attack every one of his bullshit claims, do it. That's journalism. You're not liable for what comes out of his mouth. But if you have him on and you let him spew and rant and just make nonsense threats, and then you don't challenge him on that, you're promoting it. You're helping him promote it.
We have a couple of quick videos. We're almost at it. We might go over by 5 minutes, but that's cool. This video real quick is, I can't say what the name of the video is because it's very inappropriate, but I was very angry about this one. This is him on the campaign trail. This is the stuff that he's saying.
This is not funny. This is actually dark.
Yeah, he's talking about if Biden wins, it'll be the last. But this is like what we're talking about, calls for violence. Listen.
November 5th, I'll be back as many times, because this is a very important state. You win Michigan, you win the election. You win Michigan, you're going to win the election.
Oh, yes. That's well known.
And so we'll be back, and we'll be back to Wisconsin. I'm heading for Wisconsin right now, and we're going to be back there quite a bit, too.
It's like a KKK rally.
Put it all out, because if we don't win on November 5th, I think our country is going to cease to exist. It could be the last election we ever have. I actually mean that.
A bunch of white guys.
We don't win. I think this could be the last election we ever have. That's where our country is going. So I just want to thank you all. Thank you very much. And I just want to thank you all very much.
So that's what he's saying. If he doesn't win, this will be the last. But this is what people see. Everything he does this all the time. Should we find out nasty shit about him? Like this will be the last election, or Donald Trump will make himself so he can run a third term. You know what I mean? Like this could be the last election, but it's because of Donald Trump. So every time something like this happens, then he takes it and goes to his sycophants that believe this shit, and he says it about the other side. So almost everything Donald Trump says like this is actually a confession. You know what I mean? He projects onto others what he wants to do to himself. And you got to take him seriously. Like, this guy's insane. Like you said, putting brain is putting it lightly.
I want to take a moment to give ourselves a bit of a pat on the back. We got a awesome comment just now.
Uh-oh.
The amount of time you spend on prep and setup is very much recognized. You always show clips I haven't seen in other shows. Great job every week. Thank you so freaking much, William. Very much appreciated.
Means a lot. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that means
you
a
just
lot.
tickled Jeremy's most delicate spots.
I know, right?
Videos are his baby, and I don't even understand how he does it, but he does a great job.
Yeah, it's fun. Actually, Twitter is a really good source for some of these crazy videos.
Well, because it's a cesspool really of dumb.
It really is. You see some of the most insane shit, and I don't even like. It's toxic though. Like we talk about it usually after our Tuesday shows. Wednesday, I just ignore this shit altogether because you follow this stuff and report on it and shit, and it's just extremely. It affects your mental health. So I think it's important not to get wrapped up in it too much. I mean, we get wrapped up in it a lot just because we do this show, but
we regularly take some mental health days. We'll be like, no. I don't want to deal with this today.
Because I've heard some of the craziest shit. And I've heard some of these videos of Trump supporters talking, and like I said, there's no reason to they can't reason with these people. You're not going to talk them out of they're supporting Trump. They worship this guy. They feel like he should be king. And it's absolute insanity. They call themselves patriots while they're trying to overthrow democracy. The irony of this country right now is just mind-boggling.
They stole patriotism. They stole the flag. Not that I care too much.
He turned the American flag into almost a symbol of hate, and that pisses me off. One of the reasons I have the flag behind me upside down. I'm so pissed off that they stole the flag and they stole patriotism away from the United States. They completely sucked it out and made it into a thing of hate. Now, every time I hear patriot, I think, oh God, this guy.
Yep. Every house I drive by that I see a flag, I cringe.
I know, and it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be there. I told you the story once. My mom's German, and I was driving her car the one time, and I had the German license plate on the front. Or she's born and raised in Germany, so we have a German flag on the front. And I'm driving home, and all of a sudden, this guy throws out the Nazi salute because I had the German flag on my car. So I had to go home immediately and take the German flag off of my car.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that one. Awesome. That's the times we live in. You know what I mean? All right, last video, I promise. This one's a montage. I kind of mashed everything together because some of this is crazy, some of this is funny. He calls immigrants animals. All immigrants are animals.
You know what's funny? That isn't even as bad as the other racist stuff he says in this video.
The problem is he doesn't mean white immigrants is the problem. And nobody's seeing the underlying message there. Right. Because he doesn't say nothing about his wife. Doesn't say nothing about his kids. You know what I mean? They're born to an immigrant mom. I'm born to an immigrant mom. I mean, what does that make me? Actually, I make your baby.
A mudblood. You're a mudblood.
I just realized that. All right. So this is kind of a mashup. Him calling people animal. But there's also, so you guys probably noticed Melania is like nowhere to be found. And every time you see her picture, she looks pissed off, like they drug her by her feet out of her whatever she lives in, her tower, a little princess tower that she lives in. But yeah, it's so bad. He gets an award for her in the video. She's nowhere to be found. For some reason, she gets an award, and the award is so funny. Something to do with children. But let me play this video real quick. We'll talk about it, and then we'll get done.
Would you rather have the black president or the white president who got $1.7 billion off the price?
On board. We want to take this opportunity. I know my First Lady couldn't get here, but we want to give Melania Trump the Child Advocacy Award because she said she did so much for children when she was First Lady.
This is country changing, it's country threatening, and it's country wrecking. They have wrecked our country. The Democrats say, please don't call them animals. They're humans. I said, no, they're not humans. They're not humans. They're animals.
So, sir, this is from Melania.
I know a lot of you come, they have so much money, they can give you so much money. You know what we did, the largest tax cuts in history. I think they want the white guy.
Please make your way to the...
Yeah. So, in case you guys didn't know who he was talking to at the one part there, he's talking to a room full of very rich people because he recently raised a bunch of money, but he didn't raise it like normal means. He just had a fundraiser full of rich people, like 50 people donated $1 million. It's so pathetic. But then he's going to talking about tax cuts, which benefit them. He's talking about making these people richer. Like, if you put me in office, I'll make sure that you make more money.
What was
like
that graphic we put up? Was it?
He is
was
in
it
the
last
pocket
show?
of all these people.
Was it the last show that showed the amount of billionaires we had from like this year to like 2 years ago? Went up from like 41 to like 2,000 or something.
Yeah,
like
it
that.
really went up pretty by a large. I think it was the largest increase. I don't know. I forget what the statistics were on it, but no, that's what they're talking about. Making rich people richer, man. That's what he cares about. Getting back into power, making promises to people that can help him.
It's
That's all he
funny.
does, man.
He's making rich people richer, but in so many ways, he's not one of them. Let's not forget it. The man goes bankrupt. Actually, someone who's been following us on Instagram Live today said he goes bankrupt like every 3 months. Okay.
I know, right?
The man is not a good businessman. His
No.
family and his business have been sued for doing fake charities for children, fake universities. Okay. They'll hawk steaks, they'll hawk gold sneakers, they'll hawk Bibles. He's not a good businessman, but he is so willing to let the rich get richer just in hopes that he could be considered one of them, that he will destroy this country for his own vanity and for other people's wealth, not even his own. It's disgusting.
Pathetic. And people support him. He's the matador. The matador is coming.
The matador.
That's the
The matador.
That one. Oh man. So that's all we have for today. I hope you
Make
guys
a meme
enjoyed
about
the
that.
show. Some of this stuff is maddening. Some of this stuff is laughable, but I think at the same time, we got to make sure we take what they're saying serious. I mean, we have a presidential candidate calling people animals. Talking about charging women that get abortions. I mean, it's insanity. It's absolutely with freedom. Your very way of life is at stake. And I wish more people would pay attention. So hopefully we can get more people involved. And if you have any questions or if you'd like to be on the show, we are looking for guests. If you experts in anything or whatever, please reach out. I think our email address, or you can DM us on Instagram or whatever. So hope you guys enjoyed the show. We will be back Tuesday as long as the world doesn't end tomorrow during the eclipse. If it does, okay, well, that's cool. Whatever. What are you going to do about it?
Whatever.
But no. So anyway, we'll see you Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good day.
Dear Dad, I've always voted Republican, like you taught me. You've never steered me wrong. But now, Roe v. Wade has been overturned. And in states across the country, including ours, they're banning abortion. There have been 65,000 pregnancies resulting from rape and incest in states with no exceptions. No exceptions? That means if some psycho was dead set on having a baby with me, he literally could. Dad, that scares me. It really scares me. What the hell is happening? And if Trump and the MAGA Republicans win in November, they will pass a national abortion ban. So I'm sorry, Dad, but I'm voting for Joe Biden and the Democrats, up and down the ballot. I know you understand. And I also know that if you were here, you would too. Because you've always done everything to protect me. And I have to protect myself. I can't trust MAGA Republicans. And Democrats defend women.